A Southern Nevada family is grieving tonight after a 2-year-old boy suddenly passes away. Doctors say the little boy, Woodrow Bundy, died yesterday from a brain-eating amoeba. Fox says Mike Allen talked with a local disease expert about what could have caused this tragedy.
Yeah, this is an extremely rare infection, but if it does happen, an expert I spoke with said it's very unlikely that even with great care that a victim is going to survive.
Oh my. Woodrow was a light.
Bailey Logue, 2-year-old Woodrow Bundy's aunt, talked to me over the phone and described the symptoms he went through.
It came on real fast, flu-like symptoms, fever, just like any other little sickness that a little boy might get.
If you wind up getting infected with it, chances are you're going to die. Very few people have actually survived this type of infection.
Dr. Brian Labus, an infectious disease epidemiologist at UNLV's School of Public Health, says this uncommon infection called Naegleria fowleri, which killed Woodrow, is almost always deadly, but is difficult to learn more about because of how rare it is.
But we only see 3 or 4 cases nationwide every year. This is a very rare infection, even with people spending a lot of time outdoors in recreational water sources.
It enters a victim's nose when they're splashed with very warm, untreated fresh water, like what you'd find in a hot spring or a swimming hole.
It makes its way up the nerves from your nose into your brain, and that's where it starts to multiply. And in doing so, actually starts to destroy brain tissue.
Labus says it takes 5 or 6 days for symptoms to start, and then only a week after that until the victim dies.
But it progresses rather rapidly because it's actively destroying brain tissue. So it's very difficult for your body to deal with something like that and to fight it off.
I asked Logue about her takeaway from the tragic situation. She encourages you to keep the dangers of swimming in warm, fresh water in mind, but not to let it control you, citing the rarity of this kind of infection.
We're not supposed to live here in fear. Take your kids to the river, take your kids to the lake and the ponds and all the things and let them play.
Logue tells me that doctors at Sunrise Medical told the family Woodrow's infection provided vital information about the amoeba that could one day lead toward a better understanding of it. Reporting tonight from Sunrise Medical, Mike Allen, Fox 5 News, local Las Vegas.
The CDC says the only previous case in Nevada was last year. That's when another boy had passed away. Dr. Labus told Fox 5 young boys are particularly susceptible. They're more likely to go underwater in swimming holes and hot springs.